How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm still amazed at how this whole thing works.
I
Like,
know. I
how
was
we
just
can
watching
do
you with
this.
Evie, and then I'm like, oh, and now
Yeah,
us.
it's like a telethon. It's
Yeah, it's like speed dating.
yeah, it
It's
is. It's
stagey
like,
speed dating.
or what's that website? Omegle? Or like where you can go on and you just talk to people, and if you don't like them, you just skip.
Sounds
And
like
there's
Tinder.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you do get a lot of men being vile on it.
Right.
So
So
you have
that's
to.
like the old chat roulette or whatever it is.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same. Exactly the
Oh my
same as that.
God, chat roulette.
Um, yeah, so I don't know if that's all still going, but
I
I
think it
believe
is.
so.
I think it is. But actually, yeah, like you say, it's just quite inappropriate these days, I think. So
Yeah,
everyone kind of
maybe
stays
after a few glasses of wine.
Yeah,
Um,
you can just go and have a laugh.
yeah, I think we've got the same mugs. Are they Le Creuset ones?
Yes, well, I can't take credit because it's actually Greg Bernstein and Nick Butcher who I'm living with.
Right.
It's actually their mug.
Good
But,
taste. Good taste.
oh, lovely taste.
I want to talk to you about Mary Poppins because
Yeah.
I loved it. I
Oh,
saw it. I saw it years ago, probably 10 years ago. It was on Broadway.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, was that my
and
sister? Possibly.
no, it was somebody else.
Don't know.
Maybe it was the understudy.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I'm not sure, but and I remember thinking, oh yeah, it's good, but meh. And
It was slightly different in America, actually. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the differences were, but in London, I was just the first time I saw it, I was in the very back row of the upper circle, and I had a
Whoa.
perfect view, and I was just sucked in, and I may as well have been in the front row. I was just in that show, and it's so joyous and uplifting, and
Yeah.
it must be such a dream to play. I mean, you've been doing it for years.
Well, I know. I mean, I had a 2.5 year gap in the middle
Okay.
where I did a couple of other things and then came back to it. Actually, like, couldn't remember it at all. but yeah, it was really nice to have that gap because when I came back to it, I felt like a lot older and more grounded, and it was nice to come back to it in that way.
Some of those dance routines are pretty intense. They're like supercalifragilistic ones. How is something like that to learn? I mean, obviously you're a very good like dancer and you must pick things up quite well, but even something like that must be.
Yeah, well, the thing with that is that it's like it's not dancing really. It's more kind of like hand gestures. So you can be like the best dancer ever and still, we've got like Josh Denyer in our cast, who's incredible dancer. But just like even him like trying to learn these letters, this is so funny. It's just all in the brain.
Yeah. Now, one question I've always wanted to ask a Mary Poppins, and I don't know if you can tell me this, but at the end, when Mary Poppins flies up through the audience
Yeah.
and goes to the top of the upper circle or whatever, it seems that within 10 seconds you're back on that stage. Is there a trick to it? I imagine that you've got like a fireman's pole that you have to go
Oh my
down.
God, do you know how many times I've asked for a fireman's pole? I literally try and like sweet talk the automation guys, like, come on, just build me a pole. But no, I literally, so I get pulled in, I kind of step onto a diving board type thing.
Yeah.
And then they pull me in and unclip me, and I have to rehearse it quite a few times in tech, but I literally leg it. And while I'm legging it, I take my coat off, I take my harness off as I'm running down the stairs.
Do you leave your umbrella and your bag, and do you have another one at the stage, or do you have to bring them with you?
I don't come on for my bow with a bag or an umbrella.
Okay.
So that, yeah, I leave that at the top.
Right.
And then I run down the stairs with an ASM for safety reasons, and then like dump my harness on them, change my coat, run on. There's no trick to it. It's just me running.
That's amazing. That's a huge amount of stairs. It's lucky you don't have to do any lines after that.
No, I know. I know, but you have to look like, oh, it's nothing,
Yeah.
Like,
Practically perfect. Not at all perspiring.
Perfect. And it's literally at the end of the show. It's like I've just done 2.5 hours of Mary Poppins straight, and then I've got to run like down some stairs. Really cool.
God, well, you do it with what's the word? Poise? No.
Oh, I don't know. Grace?
Right. Grace.
I try and have grace.
Yes. Now, I have watched the Royal Variety performance of Mary Poppins probably 100 times because every time me and my boyfriend have a few drinks, he insists that we cannot go to bed until we've watched that performance. I don't know why.
Oh my
So
God, I
I
love
have
that.
literally, and I'm not against that because it's a brilliant kind of mashup of the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really addictive show. Like, and even like he was on Six, now he's on Mary Poppins. He has these little
Oh,
moments of going through things. So
yeah.
when I said I was talking to you today, he was like, so
Mary Poppins.
yeah, he's probably watching in the bedroom right now.
Oh.
How are you dealing with isolation? What are you doing to stay positive and motivated? Have you got any advice for people on what they can do?
Well, right at the start of lockdown, I live on my own. So literally just on the cusp of us kind of going into this lockdown about a month ago, I was sitting in my flat on my own and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, you know, just sitting here talking to my plants. And I phoned my friend Greg Bernstein because I knew they had a spare room, and I came here, I've moved in here, and I'm so happy I did that because it's honestly changed. I could just see my sort of mental well-being kind of not doing so well, sitting on my own. And I know some people are doing it and they are absolutely incredible, like, you know, but I think if I'd had a dog or a cat or something, like, it might have been a bit better. But I'm so glad I came here, and it's been lovely. And I've just sort of been doing, like, I've been doing a 30-day yoga thing every morning.
Okay.
Just on YouTube, like a free, it's sort of 20 minutes every day.
Okay.
And then I'm absolutely loving Bobby's Bakery. I'm sure you've had some people talk to you about him.
No.
Bobby's
Bakery.
Yeah, so there's a guy called Bobby, and on Instagram he does like a half an hour workout every morning at 11 o'clock, which is a great time for theatre people because it's not like too early.
Yeah.
And he's just really fun, and he calls it Bobby's Bakery because you like cook he calls your abs your yum-yums and your triceps your croissants and things, and it's just really silly. And more and more people are joining every single day, and it's really great. So I've been loving that actually, every day at 11, and he does every single day.
I'm writing that one down. I'm taking tips on quarantine today. Oh, that sounds amazing. Now you mentioned cats then. You were in the film Cats.
Yes.
How was that whole experience of doing something like that?
That might have to be a whole separate Instagram. I don't think we've got the time. No, it honestly, that was, it sort of feels like an out of body experience sometimes. Like when I think back to it, I'm like, was I standing in a weird suit talking to Judi Dench about being a cat? Like, you know, or did I pretend to lick milk out of Ian McKellen's Louboutin shoe? Like, it's a little bit like what actually was my life at that moment. But it was just a whirlwind. Like, obviously there was some real lows because we were up every single day at 4 a.m. And it was sort of like, it turned into like sort of 17-18 hour days every day with like 3 hours sleep. So you kind of got to the point where you were very sort of on the verge of very emotional every day and very tired. And it seemed to go on and on for like sort of 7 months, 8 months.
Really? That long?
But the people that I met on that film, like sort of the family that I have now of friends that I possibly wouldn't have known before, like Les Twins, the hip hop guys, or like, you know, or just people that I just would never be in sort of our sort of theatre circle. That's so cool and lovely. And so there's so many positives. Like Robbie Fairchild is like one of my best friends in the world. You know, and it's from all over the world. So, and I know it got crazy backlash, but it wasn't anything that we weren't expecting when we were filming it.
No. I went to see it because I was living in Paris when it came out, and I went to see it, and at the end there were all these people going mental, and I'm not sure if it was those like twins, but
maybe it was. That's where they live.
Like they were either very close to them or it was them, just in this tiny.
They love a public appearance, so it could have been them. It could have been them. They love it.
It may
But
have been.
yeah,
It was a very interesting film to watch.
I think it was just rushed in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like the work that needed to go into it, I think probably should have been like 2.5 years at least. And
Yeah.
it was sort of done in a matter of months, and so it was
And I
just
think
rushed.
we saw because they released a version, didn't they? And then like 24 hours later, they released an updated
With
version.
Judy's hands.
Yeah, but you know, Paris being Paris, I think they were like, well, we've already put one version on. We're not now going to replace that with another tape. So I think they just kept the original version on the whole time. But it was a bit like a spot the difference. Like, how many weird things can you see?
I know. I think it's going to become a bit of a cult classic.
Absolutely.
One of those films that's like quite terrible, but it just becomes like a massive thing for that
Yeah,
reason.
it's how they all start, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
they've all got a
like
weird
The Room
story
and all
to
of those
them.
type films. Yeah.
One other thing I want to talk to you about, which I loved, was Strictly Ballroom. That was a brilliant show, and I'm just sorry that I hadn't seen it because it was on. It was on for a while before I got to see it, but because I hadn't seen it, I couldn't put it up for any of the West End Wilbur Awards. But I would have definitely put you up for one had I have seen it within the time. I thought that was a great show.
Oh my God, me too. Like, that show will always have a place in my heart, like, and especially my character. I grew up watching that film, and that character for me was just like such a journey to go on from, that geek sort of thing to like dancer at the end. And I've always loved doing Australian accent and the Australian humor and everything. It was just, it had so much going for it, that show. It was a shame it didn't last longer.
Yeah, it is. It's a real shame. I
think people just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was. I think it was badly marketed, in my opinion. Like, I went to see it begrudgingly, thinking I don't like Strictly Come Dancing.
Show.
And it completely wasn't. And I came to see it because I got a free ticket from something, and I liked it so much. I came back to the matinee the next day, see it again, and I brought my mum. No, it was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. Now, before I let you go, if you were stuck on a desert island and you had 3 cast recordings, what would you take with you?
West Side Story, hands down, because that's amazing. I've always been obsessed with Hello Dolly.
Yeah.
Just, put on your Sunday clothes and all of that. And
hopefully we'll see that in the West End still.
Oh, I know. I've got a couple of friends that's supposed to be doing it. And I don't know. It would be a toss-up between a few. But maybe like, would it be cringe to say Chicago?
No, not at all. It's one of my favourites.
I had a new appreciation for that show when I was in it. When you're so close to the band and you can hear all the arrangements and that Sandra and Ebb music is just insane.
Yeah, no, that'd be a great one.
Yeah.
Speaking of cast and recording, somebody said, is the new Mary Poppins cast recording on hold, or is the release imminent? Do you know anything about that?
We actually have no idea. We don't know what the plan is.
Has it been recorded?
Yes, we recorded it live over a couple of shows.
Right.
So it's a live recording one, which I was a bit wary of, because with me, when I'm singing in Mary Poppins, I'm running up and down and looking after the kids and whatnot. But yes, I'm not sure what it'll sound like when it ever does come out. But I don't have an answer for that one, I'm afraid.
Who knows? Hopefully, I mean, everything's being put back and put on hold, and
this is the thing. Yeah,
it's a really weird time, isn't it? No one knows what's happening and when it's going to happen.
And like you say, Mary Poppins is such an uplifting show. I think people are going to really need it when we come out of this. But I just, you don't know when that will be. They might do a 50% capacity situation or something like that, hopefully. But
yeah, hopefully. Well, I can't wait to see you back as Mary Poppins. And thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
And have a great rest of your Sunday.
You too.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.